Ready to dive into another one of these cases?
Always. What do we have today?
Today we're looking at the disappearance of Kyron Horman.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. It's one of those cases that just kind of sticks with you. It's been years, over decades, since he disappeared from Skyline Elementary.
And still no answers.
Right. Still so many questions. So today we're going to try to break it down a little, look at 10 key facts about the case, explore what happened, or at least what we know happened, and maybe why it continues to fascinate us and frustrate us, frankly.
Yeah, I think it's a case that, well, for me at least, it highlights just how complicated these missing person investigations can be, especially when it's a child. It just adds this whole other layer.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the beginning. June 4th, 2010, Skyline Elementary School in Portland, Oregon. They're having their annual science fair. It should be, a pretty normal day.
You'd think so.
7-year-old Kyron Horman, second grader. He's there with his stepmother, Terry.
And that's where the story takes that turn, right?
Yeah, so around 8:45 that morning, Terry says she saw Kyron walking towards his classroom.
Last confirmed sighting.
Yeah, and then nothing. He just vanishes. Doesn't get off the school bus that afternoon. His parents report him missing officially around 3:45 p.m.
You can't even imagine, can you? Just waiting for your kid and then...
Just total panic. So, of course, investigators, they start trying to piece together what happened in those missing hours.
Right.
Where could he have gone?
It's all about the timeline in these cases.
And the search, they went all out. Over 1,300 volunteers, law enforcement, search and rescue teams. They were combing the area.
Desperate for any clue, any little thing.
But nothing. Absolutely nothing. No physical evidence. Not a trace of him.
And that's where the focus shifts, doesn't it?
To Terry Horman.
Yeah. What she said happened that morning, it just wasn't adding up for investigators. And then there were things she did before and after Kyron disappeared. Just little things, but they raised red flags.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, there were the polygraph tests. She reportedly failed 2 of them. Even walked out of a 3rd.
Oh, wow. See, that's always so tricky for me, those polygraph tests.
Yeah.
They're not admissible in court.
Right. And there's still a lot of debate about how reliable they really are. Can be influenced by all sorts of things, nerves, anxiety.
So maybe not the most solid piece of evidence.
Exactly. Useful tool for investigators, maybe to help guide their questioning, but not a slam dunk by any means.
So aside from the polygraphs, what else was it about Tarek that made her a person of interest?
Well, months before Kyron disappeared, there are these allegations that she had tried to hire someone, a landscaper, to kill her husband, Kane, Kyron's father.
Oh, hold on. Really?
Yeah. And, obviously, that raises some serious questions about her character, her motives.
Huge red flag.
To say the least.
And that's what led to Kane filing for divorce and getting that restraining order against Tarek.
He was worried about their other child, their shared child's safety. Imagine that. One of your children is missing, and you have to protect your other child from your own spouse. Just unimaginable.
It's just heartbreaking all around. But here's the thing I can't wrap my head around. With all this suspicion, all these red flags, nobody has ever been charged in connection with Kyron's disappearance.
It's frustrating, but investigators, they have to work within the legal system. Suspicion alone, even strong suspicion, it's not enough to bring charges. They need hard evidence.
Wow.
Something that will hold up in court.
Yeah, I get it. It's been so long, over a decade. Kyron's case, it's still one of the most well-known missing child cases in the country. His picture's still out there. His story's still being told.
And it's a reminder, even with all the technology we have today, the cameras, the surveillance, kids can still just vanish.
It's a parent's worst nightmare. So where do we go from here? What happens now? If you were working on this case, where would you even start?
Well, given how much time has passed, I'd probably be digging into any digital footprints from back then that might have been overlooked. 2010, social media was taking off. People were using email more and more.
Stuff that might seem insignificant at the time, but could be a clue now?
Right. Location data, old messages, anything like that. Technology's come a long way. Maybe there's something there.
So even in a cold case like this, there's still hope. New technology, a fresh perspective, anything's possible. It's important to keep Kyron's story alive, to keep asking questions.
Absolutely. Someone out there knows something.
Keep his face in mind. Stay informed. Maybe, just maybe, the truth will come out someday.
We can only hope.